Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to go over some questions that are very typical of the AMC 8 competition. The AMC 8 is a 25-question, 40-minute multiple choice examination created by the Mathematical Association of America for middle school students. The AMC 8 provides an opportunity for students to develop positive attitudes towards analytical thinking and to apply what they learned in class in a more challenging way. Students who enjoy the AMC 8 often go on to participate in the AMC 10-12 competition, which is for high school students. By the way, the AMC 10-12 competition in many states is considered a qualifying exam to join the state math team. These state math teams in turn can lead all the way to the IMO or the International Math Olympiad. Now let's continue on to the first question. 6 pepperoni circles will fit across the diameter of a 12-inch pizza when placed. If a total of 24 circles of pepperoni are placed on this pizza without overlap, what fraction of the pizza is covered by pepperoni? In questions like this, it's often helpful to draw a diagram. So we'll start by doing just that. We'll draw a large circle which will represent the pizza, and then we'll draw 6 smaller circles inside across the diameter to represent the pepperoni. Now we should find the radius of one pepperoni. According to the problem, it says we can fit 6 pepperoni circles across the diameter. Since the diameter is 12 inches, this means that each piece of pepperoni has a diameter of 2 inches, or a radius of 1 inch. Now there are 24 pepperoni circles, so their total area is 24 times pi times 1 squared, or 24 pi. And the area of the big circle is simply pi times 6 squared, or 36 pi. Since they ask for the fraction, we can get this by dividing the area and reducing it into the simplest form. If we divide 24 by 36, the pi's will cancel out, and the 24 and 36 will cancel and give us 2/3. Therefore, the correct answer is B. Now, let's go on to the second question. The top of one tree is 16 feet higher than the top of another tree. The heights of the two trees are in the ratio 3:4. In feet, how high is the taller tree? This is a question that's going to involve ratios, and we have two choices as to what we want to write down. As long as you're careful, you should get the right answer either way. So I'm going to try the first equation. X over x plus 16 equals 3/4. You can solve this equation, or because this is a multiple choice test, you are perfectly allowed to try each answer choice and see which one works. So if we do this, we get 4x equals 3x plus 48, or x is equal to 48. However, in this case, you should still add 16 to get the height of the taller tree. So 48 plus 16 is 64, which would be answer choice B on your sheet. There is a slightly faster way to do this. If the numbers are consecutive, for example, 3 and 4, or 4 and 5, all you have to do is multiply the difference in height by the bigger number to get the height of the taller tree. In our case, the problem tells us that the top of one tree is 16 feet higher than the top of another tree, and the larger number of the ratio is 4. So 16 times 4 is 64, and this also gives us answer choice B. Let's move on to the next question. of 500 balls in a bag, 80% are red and the rest are blue. How many red balls must be removed so that 75% of the remaining balls are red? So the thing to realize in this question is that we are removing red balls, so the number of red balls can change, but the number of blue balls cannot change. The first thing we do is that we can realize that there are 100 blue balls because 20% of 500 is equal to 100. Now I want 25% of the balls to be blue. So after removing some red balls, there have to be 400 balls total remaining. This means that I removed 100 red balls because 500 minus 400 is equal to 100. This is answer choice D in your sheet. The lengths of the sides of a triangle in inches are 3 consecutive integers. The length of the shortest side is 30% of the perimeter. What is the length of the longest side? So the first thing we should try to do is find out what's the perimeter. Actually, we don't know what the perimeter is, but since we know that they are all consecutive integers, that is, the lengths of the sides are consecutive integers, we can let the shortest side be x. If we do this, the next longest side will be x plus 1, and the longest side will be x plus 2. If we add up the lengths of all the sides, we will get that the perimeter is equal to 3x plus 3. Since x is 30% of the perimeter, we can write this following equation. 0.3 times 3x plus 3 is equal to x. We can then multiply and get 0.9x plus 0.9 is equal to x. And this gives us that 0.1x is equal to 0.9. Ultimately, this means that x is equal to 9. However, this is the length of the shortest side. Since the question asks for the longest side, all I have to do is add 2 to this number. So the longest side is equal to 11. And this is answer choice E on the sheet. Let's move on to the final question. A jar contains 5 different colors of gumdrops. 30% are blue, 20% are brown, 15% are red, 10% are yellow, and the other 30 gumdrops are green. If half of the blue gumdrops are replaced with brown gumdrops, how many gumdrops will be brown? So this question involves many percentages, and all we have to do is be careful and we can solve this quite easily. The first thing to do is to calculate the percentage of green gumdrops. So if I subtract 10 minus 30 minus 20 minus 15 minus 10, I get 25%. This is the percentage of green gumdrops. Next, I want to find the total number of gumdrops. This is equivalent to saying 25% of what number is 30. Since 25% is equal to 1/4, I can simply multiply 30 by 4 and get 120 as the total number of gumdrops. Next, I will calculate the number of gumdrops that will be brown. Since half of the blue gumdrops are replaced with brown gumdrops, and 30% of the gumdrops are blue, this means that I'd add 30% divided by 2 plus 20%. In other words, 35% of the gumdrops will be brown. Next, I multiply this by the total number of gumdrops. I can do this very quickly in my head because 10% of 120 is 12, and 5% of that is 6. So I simply add 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 6 to get 42, and that's the final number of brown gumdrops. This corresponds to answer number C in your final sheet.